Hey, what's up, True Tribe? In today's episode, we're going to be going over the Personal Declaration of Independence, which everybody will sign and submit to the old authority, letting them know they no longer have jurisdiction over you and that you are now a sovereign. Coming up today in part 6 of The Path to Freedom. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So, the next 2 episodes of the series, I'm going to be covering the documentation. I understand that there are, unfortunately, a lot of people out there who can't be bothered to take the time to read. But this documentation is vital. It's important for people understanding that if they ever want to be free, you have to declare your independence from the system that is currently claiming jurisdiction over your life. That is what this documentation does. Our goal is to form a new type of societal management system called a natural law republic. And just like they did in 1776, we are going to have to declare our independence. So what I've done is I've taken the original Declaration of Independence, written in 1776, and I've simply updated it for today's world. If you read the original, most of it no longer applies to a world in 2021. And again, one of the biggest arguments that was given against all these documents by scholars is that, well, they only apply to the people who actually signed them. So this one here is actually, if you look at the last page, is designed to be signed by every single individual. So once we reach a critical mass, we will decide on a date when we all declare our independence at once. This is how we do it. This is how you peacefully transition out of the old system into a new system. We need a critical mass. I'm again saying that 10%, between 32 and 34 million people, will be the tipping point that we need to not only break free of the old system, but show everybody else that if we can do it, they can do it too. All right? So, what I'm going to do basically is read this entire thing. For those who don't want to take the time to read, you will be able to hear the power in the words of the document that you will ultimately be signing and have a copy of, declaring not only your independence from this old system, from all the legacy institutions, but your sovereignty and your declaration as a free human being. Again, nothing like this has ever been proposed in history. Everything's always been under this guise of a social contract, but government has always been in control. And everybody has been subservient to that government. So this is a system that truly, truly does put the power back in the hands of the people. So without further ado, let's get to the document, and I'm going to do a screen share and we'll get right into this. Okay, so once again, what I did was I took the original and I wanted to be as true to the original as possible. Obviously, the language is a little bit flowery, but I think it's powerful. Again, I only changed it to update it to our current conditions and our current situation. So with that said, I am going to start reciting the Personal Declaration of Independence. In solemn union with the immutable natural laws of our Creator, September 11th, 2021, an irrevocable declaration of independence of the sovereign individuals from the Corporation of the United States and the Corporation for the District of Columbia. When, in the course of historical events, whether based in actual facts of objective reality or manufactured fictions told for the purpose of blatant deception, it becomes necessary for an enlightened cooperative of a nation's people to dissolve the political bands and structure which have illegitimately bound them to one another in an act of constructive fraud from birth, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature's God entitles them as their birthright, a decent respect to this understanding among all of the human species required, that they should declare the causes which overwhelmingly impel them to the separation from such an entity which wholly embodies an egregious miscarriage of truth, justice, and common decency. Thus, we hold these unchallengeable truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed from birth until their demise by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of property, abundance, and realization of our full potential as human beings in this shared realm of existence. That to secure these rights, public service administrations are instituted among the populations, deriving their responsibilities from the consent of the people whom have proven themselves to be of sound mind, intellect, and character. That whenever any form of public service administration or individual administrator becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right and sacred duty of the people to alter and or completely abolish it, and to institute a new societal management system, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its responsibilities in such for as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety, happiness, prudence, and ability to engage in open and unfettered free markets of economic exchange. In light of historical events that have shown governments around the world to repeatedly violate their purposes, founding documents of institution and restraints, and the very laws that were implemented to hold their powers in check, experience has shown that humanity are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long, never-ending, and increasingly draconian train of abuses and usurpations has shown that the logical and obvious outcome to be a path of complete despotism and eventual loss of all individual free will, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their present and future security. Such has been the patient and generously tolerant sufferance of these 50 United States and territories. And such a time has come to which it has become far beyond necessity to alter all current forms of government. The true history of the present government administration, from the highest officials in elected office to their political appointees and all the way down to the local school boards, is a proven and documented trail of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states and its people. To prove this, let facts be submitted for a curious and awakening world to see for themselves. It has allowed for the perversion of natural laws from which its charter was founded and created a system of purposely confusing legalese by which to unlawfully usurp the wealth and energy of the people of this nation and to enslave its population. It has violated nearly every single provision of its organic constitution by forfeiting its duties to entities foreign to the government and its initial charter. In addition, it has allowed all 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto to be implemented in this republic under its watch, and most disturbingly, with its enthusiastic and duplicitous blessings. It is engaged in a series of illegal wars of aggression for the purposes of allowing the corporations which have been allowed to hijack many of the reins of power initially bestowed specifically to the elected leadership, to profit from the overthrowing of foreign governments for the purpose of raping and pillaging said nations of their natural resources for a fraction of their true and natural market value, while enslaving the natives of said nations to extract these natural resources for pennies on the dollar. It has allowed the organic Constitution for the United States of America to be replaced with an illegitimate corporate constitution for the purposes of allowing foreign actors to gain control over the business of the nation. This alone amounts to the highest form of treason. It has allowed for the complete perversion of science in the name of scientism, a chimeric monstrosity of corporate-funded and controlled predetermined conclusions by using pseudoscientific and unproven theories which have prematurely cost the lives of untold millions of innocent Americans. It has virtually eliminated health freedom and the ability of the public to access the information to create informed consent by censoring and destroying the lives of many good doctors and scientists over the generations who have sought to reveal the truths about health and how the body truly works and heals itself with proper nutrition. It has created, via false flag events and media-controlled government agency-run psychological operations, a militarized police state that does not protect and serve the people of this nation, but rather protects the illegitimate power structure which has risen in place of the government design laid out in the organic Constitution, as well as to terrorize innocent and virtuous Americans simply exercising their fundamental and inalienable rights. It has created a system of maritime and admiralty law that violates all maxims of common and natural law and has defrauded the entire nation into agreeing and signing on to adhesion contracts by withholding the full terms of the agreements. This amounts to constructive fraud and is not only dishonorable, it is premeditatedly criminal beyond redemption. It has created a system of taxation that unlawfully steals the wealth of its people by taking their income before they are even allowed to access it and enjoy the fruits of their labor by deciding where to spend their hard-earned money of their own free will and accord. It has done this by unlawfully giving away its most important power of creating and regulating the value of money to private entities in 1913, in violation of original constitutional provisions. By doing so, it has indebted this nation to ultra-wealthy criminal classes who have systematically created boom and bust cycles so as to steal the wealth of our nation by buying up control of our markets, resources, and property every time it purposely manufactures another collapse. It has illegally experimented on its own citizens with numerous radiological and other toxins, experimental drugs, and harmful chemicals without our informed consent or approval, in complete violation of the Nuremberg Code and laws of nature. The lies it has told its citizen over the decades and generations are beyond legendary and documented in dozens to hundreds of books written by insiders and investigators over the years. It has done so to gain more and more unbridled power and control of the people by purposely deceiving them. This is a primary violation of natural law and will no longer be tolerated whatsoever. It has hijacked the education system, implemented a compulsory government indoctrination system of schooling, and in the process destroyed the very essence of what it means to be educated and considered intellectual. By doing so, it has purposely dumbed down generations of Americans for the expressed intent of letting our nation be eventually taken over by a centralized government of unelected bureaucrats and corporate stakeholders and the implementation of a communitarian collectivist society. It has allowed media to be hijacked by corporate entities and works in conjunction with what was once considered to be the fourth estate to purposely deceive and gaslight the entire population in order to manipulate them into making decisions that are always against their best interests. It has created a number of bureaucratic agencies that operate in violation of the original intent of the Constitution and impose unlawful and illegitimate power over the people of this nation via law, codes, and mandates. It has made the ability of the people to redress and be compensated for their grievances next to impossible and far beyond the ability to pay or in a reasonably timely manner. The people's voices are constantly and consistently ignored in lieu of agendas set by powers unelected by the people of this nation. It has gradually, systematically, and premeditatedly chipped away at the natural rights of the people for whom it supposedly represents in complete violation of their oaths. It has signed our nation onto treaties with other nations and non-governmental organizations that violate the very meaning of scientific method, have no connection to objective truth or reality, and partnered with known criminals and organizations in the destruction of our society and way of life. It has allowed the illegitimate influence of non-governmental organizations to have unelected power over decisions that should be made solely by chosen and respected representatives of the people or directly by the people themselves. It has allowed for a corrupt and deceitful lobbying entity via bribery and cronyism to not only influence vital legislation, but to actually write in whole bills that negatively affect millions of people while enriching the corporations who reap the benefits of a public not fully informed enough by design to give their consent to such nonsensical, draconian, and impossibly cognizant laws. It has allowed for elected representatives to personally enrich themselves at the expense of the people by illegitimately authorizing backroom deals, insider trading, and numerous illegal ways of creating wealth that, if an average citizen were to do the same, would put them in prison for years. The hypocrisy of this system is astounding and nearly incomprehensible. It has become a complete mockery of what the Republic stands for, is the epitome of hypocritical in the rhetoric it spews to the people, and deceitful to the extent that most elected officials could and should be held accountable for the highest crimes, misdemeanors, and ultimately treason. It has made a complete joke of the election system by allowing private corporations to manipulate elections with highly questionable voting machines, easily and provably hackable software, and hardware designed to flip outcomes to whomever the true controllers want in positions of power and control. It has made it impossible for the people of this nation to ever trust another election or verify if those supposedly elected are even in positions of legitimate power because of all the discrepancies, gaslighting, and media cover-ups. It has falsely and criminally perpetuated perhaps the greatest fraud known to mankind in its continued and relentless propagation of the hoax known as COVID-19. It has never once shown proof of the existence of any contagion, nor proven the disease exists. It has used knowingly fraudulent PCR amplification tool as a means to create the illusion of a fictional pandemic that has completely devastated the economy and people of this nation so that this country could be brought to its knees and ushered into the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the Great Reset, and Sustainable Development Goals for 2030, which would eventually enslave every single individual of not only this nation, but the entire world. It has again violated the Nuremberg Code by allowing millions of its citizens to be injected with a dangerous and untested mRNA gene-altering concoction that, as of this writing, has knowingly killed over 13,000 innocent Americans already. The list is virtually endless of the number of transgressions in which it has engaged against the people of America in complete violation of its founding documents and rule of law, and thus the rights and duties of the people of this nation compel us to abolish and replace this government, remove from every position all of its representatives, and eliminate in total its entire structure, power, and any shred of legitimacy. It engaged in a blatantly obvious coup d'etat in the election of 2020 by installing a completely illegitimate executive administration as well as legislative branch, while also installing many biased judges in positions of power around the nation and even in the Supreme Court. It is a fully illegitimate government not authorized by any form of valid law, majority of the people, or the original organic constitution of this nation. Thus, it has no legitimate authority to remain in power and must be abolished. In every stage of these oppressions, the people have petitioned for redress, had legitimate legal cases thrown out as frivolous by a captured and corrupted court system, and we have done so in the most humble and patient of terms. Our repeated petitions, protests, and demands for real justice have been met with repeated arrogance, injury, and rejection. A system of governance or societal management which operates under a character which in every way defines a tyranny is unfit to remain solvent and the ruler to retain any power whatsoever over a free people. We therefore, the individual sovereigns of the United States of America, in general and unanimous agreement, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by authority of the good people of this nation, solemnly publish, sign, and declare that these united people of sound mind and conscience are, and of right, ought to be free and independent sovereigns, domiciled in the independent and free state of our own free will to choose. That we are absolved from all allegiance to the corporation known as the United States and the Corporation of the District of Columbia, and that all political connection between us and the corporate entity created in 1871 to illegitimately place the original and organic Constitution for the United States of America is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent sovereign individuals, we have the right to create, institute, and implement a new form of societal management system which abides by and honors natural law, and that any form of government should never be allowed ever again. In doing so, I am united with the cooperative of millions of other sovereigns in declaring my independence from the aforementioned entity and fully support the creation and implementation of a new society and to the natural law republic of the United States of America, which is to be instituted by sheer will and collective action of the people of this great nation. And for the support of this declaration, with firm reliance on the protection of the divine providence, I mutually pledge to, and with all other individual sovereigns of this nation, my life, my fortune, and my sacred honor. And then, as you can see, you would sign it at the bottom, and we will figure out where it will be submitted to when the time comes. There you go. Those are powerful words. That document right there, when signed by a critical mass of people in this country, will create a new society. This is how we break free from the old system. All you have to do is read it, sign it, and submit it. I've already done the work. I've already laid the groundwork. And I will continue building a public service administration, reaching out to people who have shown goodwill and true character and integrity in all of their work. I know they're out there. All we need to do is unite, again, under one idea, and we can bring this to fruition. We can create an entirely new world. And these psychopaths who have been running the show our entire lives and going back generations will simply be rendered impotent and powerless, because the power will truly be restored back to we the people. If you're not getting excited about getting on board with this movement, I don't know what else I can say. We have no other option. To stay on this reservation is to be enslaved. To stay under the thumb and control of people who, at their whim and will do whatever they want. And you will have to comply or else. That's the world we're living in, people. And if you want to break free of that world, go back and watch Manifesting a New Reality. Watch The Path to Freedom. Read all the documentation and start sharing this. Download these documents. Print them out. In the next episode, I'm going to be covering the 3-contract checks and balances system, as well as going over the Constitution. Again, so you can see exactly what this type of society would look like. So hopefully this has been of use to you, of benefit to you, and you can begin to see how united we have the power. If everybody understands that we are dealing with a criminal entity and we need to break free of that entity, that we can't find freedom or peace or sovereignty inside that system. That system is designed to enslave us. All of these legacy systems are designed to take our wealth and to oppress us, period. History has shown that. And I just read 27 grievances. And I didn't even, when I wrote this, it's kind of funny. I hadn't even realized the number of grievances in the original Declaration of Independence. I just wrote until I felt like I had enough information and impetus behind us breaking free and reasons why, that we no longer have to put up with this. When I went back and counted the grievances in the original one, it was 27. And I came up with 27. So I don't know if it's serendipity or what, but it kind of turned out in a similar way. But again, this is a rough draft. It can be changed, it can be updated, it can be whatever. This is out there in the public domain for people to scrutinize and hey, give me feedback. Let me know what you think. But the power lies with us. It always has. Like I said in the last video, there's no place like home. Click your heels. It's all an illusion. It's all the Wizard of Oz. And as soon as we break that illusion, we can all be free. But we have to go through certain steps to get there. And declaring our independence from the old system is one of the steps. Signing onto a new constitution, which I'll cover in the next episode, is another step. But again, the foundation's been laid. It's been less than a week. I can already see we're starting to build interest and momentum. So it's in its infancy right now. This has just been born. And again, hopefully very soon, because I think an idea like this should actually spread pretty quickly. That there's an opportunity for us to actually be free from all this madness. And again, once we're free, COVID goes away. All the insanity goes away. Because in a natural law republic, science, true science, is number one. And lies are not allowed, as you will see in the Constitution tomorrow. These big whoppers, media will be held in check, corporations will be held in check, and the Public Service Administration will be held in check by we the people through the contracts. You'll see. It's a powerful system. Again, I've been working on this for researching 14 years, working on this system for over 11 years. Figuring out what are the problems, applying natural law, coming up with a solution. It's really that simple. But again, it took thousands of hours of research and learning and opining and really thinking to figure out how do we break free of this. And I don't see anyone else out there. Again, I don't see anybody else. I don't see any other way of doing this. But the documentation is there. You just have to read it. You have to understand it. And you have to understand the power behind your own freedom, behind your own sovereignty, because we're all born that way. And as soon as our parents signed that birth certificate, they signed you over into a legacy system of enslavement. And it's time for that to end. And all these law groups trying to work within that system, freeing themselves, but allowing it to stay in place, that's not a solution to solve our problems. That's not a solution that's going to free everybody. My system here will free everybody. Everybody in the world. Because this system can be implemented in every single nation of this world, eventually. The entire world right now is looking to America. We're the last stand of freedom. We still have our ability to defend ourselves. If Afghanistan can fall in 20 years, they don't stand a chance against truly patriotic Americans and lovers of freedom. All we ever needed was an idea and an option, an alternative option to where we're living right now. That option has never been there. That option has always been left or right, or move to another country, or just check out of the system and hope you'll be left alone. The world is coming when none of those options are going to be available anymore. You'll just have to do as you're told or else. And I don't think anybody wants to live in that world. So again, the time is now. We have to take action now. We can't wait. We have to do this now. The clock is ticking, and again, we're in a race against these people. They've already thought 20 steps ahead. I've thought 20 steps ahead, but we're in step one right here. We need to build critical mass. We need to go to the website, read the words, understand what this plan to free humanity is all about, and begin to share it and say, look, this guy actually has a plan. This guy has spent tens of thousands of hours of his life putting this together. And I'm obviously going to get critics and people who want the spotlight. And I've even had people tell me, bring up the word competition. I'm like, I'm not in competition. Like, my whole thing has been from day one when I first watched America, Freedom to Fascism. And Aaron Russo challenged me, what are you going to do about it now? It's always been about freedom to me. I just want to be free. And we do not live in a free world. This is not about power. It's not about control. It's not about anything. I'm trying to give power back to the people. I'm trying to restore sovereignty for everybody. That's my goal. Because I just want to be free. I just want to live a life of freedom where I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. And I know I'm the kind of person, I'm not going to screw with anybody. I just want freedom. I think you should want freedom. I think everybody ultimately wants freedom. But nobody knows how to break free. I see that. That's the biggest question. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? This is what we do. We declare our independence with this document here. We sign on to a new system. Once we get a critical mass of that, again, that 10% is the tipping point. Once we hit that 10%, all the dominoes fall. The rest of them will fall. And so our goal right now is building that critical mass. We need to get to between 32 and 34 million people. And again, I think you're going to see, once you start seeing people understanding what's happening here and start sharing this information, you're going to see this momentum pick up very quickly. People are going to get excited because, again, this isn't Q-hopium. This isn't Trump is going to save the day, or JFK Jr. is going to come back from the dead, or he never died, or any of that horse shit that we've had to put up with for the last 3 years, okay? This is actionable. This is viable because, again, the power truly is with us. And once we unite under one idea and get this implemented, guess what? Everybody can go and live their life as they see fit. Whatever you want to do, you're free to do it. All right? Public Service Administration is only going to be there to manage the common law court system, to settle disputes, and to ensure that all businesses are operating under the maxims of natural law. It's a really simple system, but like I said in part 2 of this series, it has to be simple. It has to be simple to get people on board and to create the critical mass. And everything's in place. We just need people. So, again, I love you guys. That's it for tonight. thank you for watching. Thank you for taking your time. And please share this, comment, let me know what you think on Facebook under the comment section here. I'm going to put links to the documentation again under here. I've also uploaded it to the Internet Archive as a backup in case the website gets hacked. But, we got to start doing this. Start focusing on the solutions. If we focus on the solutions, we will create a new world, a new society, and everybody will be safe. Okay? We have to get there. This is the only way to get there. I'm telling you. I've looked at every angle for 14 years. I know all the dead ends. I know all the trapdoors. I know all the tricks. They want to keep you on their system. They want to keep you in their court system. They want, their biggest fear is that we figure out how to break free. This is breaking free. Again, we build that critical mass and it's game over. It's checkmate. So I can't do it myself. It's up to you. We need to get on. Eventually, hopefully in the next couple weeks, start getting on bigger podcasts with larger audiences, sharing this message. The sooner the better. Because as soon as the hierarchy enslaving you, find out about this, they're going to try and shut it down. Guaranteed. We have to show them that we're not afraid and that we hold the power. So, on that note, again, thank you very much. Love you guys, and we will see you in episode 7 very soon. Take care, y'all. Bye-bye. Hey, what's up, everyone? I just want to pop in here real quick because as I was editing this, I noticed that I had mentioned part 7 of this series. However, I never made a part 7. If we look over here to the right, part 7 actually became part 4 of my foundational video series, Perverting the Meaning of One Word, has decimated society. And then part 8, my crash course in critical thinking, actually became part 5 of my foundational video series for Kaizen and the Pursuit of Truth. So this is what I'm calling my Reclaiming the Mind series, where I talk about Kaizen, understanding natural law, the lost tools of learning, and why people are so painfully ignorant today, and then the real meaning of the word liberal, and then my crash course in critical thinking, which part 1 is done. I never finished part 2, but part 1 will give you enough of the information you need to start questioning everything that you think you know or believe. So, from here, from part 6, and by the way, if you made it to part 6, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting this far and actually caring about humanity and our future. Because the people that are watching this are the people who actually care and want to do something about it. From part 6, where we want to go now, since I just read through the Declaration of Independence, the next logical place to go is my Creating a Natural Law Republic video series. There's 5 parts there. And then part 1 is, I've mentioned before, the Constitution Confidence Game revealed, where I show people that the Constitution that everybody reveres was never meant to last more than one generation, and it has no inherent authority. It's just people's belief that it does that gives it its perceived authority and gives government its perceived legitimacy and authority. And why I've written one that everybody is signatory to that would give the Constitution for a Natural Law Republic true authority and true legitimacy, because in that system, all power is truly held with the people and not the Public Service Administration that it creates. So, and I explain that in this series right here, Creating a Natural Law Republic. So, part 1 is the setup, why we need to create our own Constitution. We all need to sign it. And then in parts 2 through 5, I actually read through the entire Constitution, the preamble, and all of the articles, and explain why it's written the way it is. And so that's pretty much the pillars of the Freedom Project 2020. Manifesting into reality is the vision. or destination of a better society. The path to freedom is how we get there. And creating a natural law republic is the structure. It's the infrastructure of how it would work. So everything is there. All the pieces of the puzzle are there, but we have to watch all of it and get through all of it to truly understand the power behind this proposal, and how that if we got a critical mass of people to walk away and into this system, it would simply dissolve the government as we know it, and the New World Order, and the hierarchy as we know it. Because as you learn, as you go back to here, I also call this my Reclaiming the Mind video series. I may have mentioned that before. But as we reclaim the mind, and we can see through the BS and the illusion, and then you watch my content, you realize everything becomes self-evident. We have all the power. Sovereignty belongs to the individual, and we can reclaim this world. All we have to do is understand it and know it. Not believe it, but know it, that is the truth. So, hopefully you're beginning to understand that these are all pieces of the puzzle, and all the content needs to be watched to understand the big picture. And then again, there's an overview, Emancipation Proclamation 2.022, that blog series. I talk about humanity will never be free unless we unite and start moving towards a destination that I talked about in the path to freedom. What needs to be done to break free, which I've talked about. The paradox of the illusory social contract. They tell us we live under the social contract, but nobody's ever signed it. So it's just an illusion. That's what I talk about there. And then the three vital parts of a well-functioning society. And then, again, go and watch my Freedom Under Natural Law presentation. Is one of the most powerful ones I've ever done, because I show how we were enslaved by this idea of positive law that everybody just believes is legitimate, and how we will only be free when we align with natural law. So, I've got a lot of content out there, and, your only investment, I'm not asking for money. If you want to support me, you can at Substack, but your investment is spending time and paying attention to what I and others are saying, because I'm just talking about what I've learned from other people, really. Everything's here on the Freedom Project 2020, the Plan to Free Humanity, and everything will be on my Kaizen and the Pursuit of Truth YouTube channel by the end of the week. All of the videos will be up there. So here's my channel, the videos, and then I've got all the playlists. Everything is set up in a playlist, so you can just click the playlist, hit one, and it'll take you through the whole thing. So we've got the Path to Freedom, the conference, I've got my Optimal Health video series, Revitalizing the Body, Creating a Natural Law Republic, Manifesting a New Reality, and my foundational video series. So it's all there in Kaizen and the Pursuit of Truth. I will probably start uploading them to my Substack account as well, since they have a video platform now too. So everything will be there as well, but my YouTube channel is the best place to watch everything. And share this information, comment on it. I want to know what people are thinking, but again, it's all there. The vision of a better world, fully aligned with natural law, the roadmap to get there, the structure of how it all will work. And once you get through all this content, you'll understand how simple it would be to take back our power. And once you understand how simple it is, you get excited and you want to share it with other people. You go to them and say, hey, do you really think government is doing a good job? Do you think maybe there's a better way? Go and check out this content from this guy. Start with Manifesting a Reality. Go and watch this video series as he takes you through deconstructing the illusion and painting a picture of a better world. And he's actually got a plan of action to bring us all to this new reality. So anyway, again, thanks again for your time, for watching all my content. And moving forward, I'm going to be doing my 10-minute video series, directing people towards this longer form content so that we can start building that critical mass, because critical mass is key. Once we have a critical mass ready to transition to the new system and the infrastructure for the debt-free monetary system in place, we just pick a date and we go. And once we do, there's nothing they can do. The other 90% will follow us, and we just created an entirely new reality based in natural law, based in truth, and we can start living our lives the way we always dreamed that we would be living them growing up, until the wheels fell off everything because we didn't realize we were in an agenda being driven by psychopathic, predatory parasites driving us towards a new world order in which we have no rights, no freedom. And we don't want to go there, okay? That's why I do what I do, because I don't want to end up there either. And I don't think you want to, or your children want to live in that future as well. So, I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.